Rich Shea here with unboxing of Rocketmen, a game by Martin Wallace, published by Phalanx Games. So, I like Martin Wallace games, usually quite a bit. They can be a little bit punishing. This is kind of a deck builder, which is like a new exploration space for him. He's been doing it for a while. It's been kind of hit and miss in some ways. But this is his latest attempt to do it. So, opening it up, has that evocative moon picture. So a fast-paced deck building game. Well, we'll see when we play it about that. So the instructions, nicely written, light gray background, bluish highlights. The pieces, mission tokens to mark that you've done things, victory point tokens to mark where you are on that, achievements, which once you've done something, you get some special future benefits later in the game. This is a game about accelerating your personal space program. Some more achievement programs with two sides. You can flip them once per turn, I believe. First player, rocket token or something used by the AI for other stuff. Rocket, Moon, and Mars, which are tokens you can win, I think, for bonuses. Then there's a bunch of action cards, which could be missions, assets to help you, engines, which of course you need to launch into space, and threats, which are cards that you can solve in the game for victory points. They represent threats to humanity that you work on with your high-tech stuff. Mission success cards, personal goals, some game variants, and solitaire cards for the solitaire version. You open here, we're good. Alright, so as usual, there's a setup. As you can see, it's pretty complicated with the cards, the board. Here's a track for going into space when you launch something. You have your own personal space. You have cards in your hand, cards you've trashed, cards that are discarded, your draw pile. The achievements that give you special abilities go over here, and that's your mission. What you're going to do next from the mission cards, and next to that you'll actually build your assemble your launch criteria. So it goes over the cards. They have costs, abilities, types. There's a lot of that. Threat cards are things like climate change, asteroid impact, pandemic, where you can solve Earth's problems for a victory point. But the farther along you are in the game, the more expensive it is for you to solve a problem. Okay, and then there are game variants. So I guess we won't get to those. Destinations and locations. You can go to the Moon, Mars, or Earth. You have to reach one of those. Earth orbit, the Moon, or Mars when you launch something. And at each of those places there are different things that you can do, and we'll get to that. So then there's your personal player board with headquarters, a hand of cards, the mission plan, the launch pad. You stack stuff over here to make your launch assembly. A playing area over here. It says basically the cards you've played, they aren't discarded yet. They stay active when they're out, so you can see what you're doing, because some of the interactions are complicated. Your warehouse, which is actually your discard pile. That's your stack of cards called your headquarters. You have a warehouse, which, that's your discard pile. Achievement tokens that you can benefit from. Your junkyard, which are basically the cards that you've gotten rid of. And under B, that's your hand. There's a place to put it down when you're not looking at it, I guess. So you play the game. Each player gets a turn. They can buy cards, place cards on their launch pad or mission plan, discard cards. Then, if they have it set up, they can launch a mission. At the end of the turn, there's some cleanup. The cards you played go in your discard pile. You draw back up to 5. If you used achievement tokens to help you during the turn, you flip them back up so they're available next turn. The game ends. It's kind of complicated. So a threshold score, depending on the number of players, between 18 and 23 by any player triggers the end. Somebody's put all 6 of their mission tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, on their board, okay, or all the players have placed, and on each destination. So they have mission tokens on the board, and on the main board they have one at each of Earth orbit, the Moon, and Mars. So that would be 9. Or everybody's placed all their mission tokens Maybe nobody wants to go to Mars because they just don't get their stuff together. The end of the game, so some cards give you victory points. Threat cards that you took care of will give you a victory point. If you had the first person to go to the moon or Mars, you get a victory point from the token that you got for being the first one. There are personal goals. They might score you victory points. There are variant cards, I think, that are extra in-game goals for everybody. They might score points. High score wins. So you pay for cards with money by using cards from your hand to generate the cost of the card. Actually, I think some cards, yes, need an achievement as well as cash. So you have to have a computer composites or genetics card or a wild card along with money to get to buy the card. When you buy a card into your playing area, so it's available immediately. So and then there's some things about when you can use certain cards' effects. When you put cards on the mission plan or the launch pad, you only can have one card on the mission area, and that defines the mission. I think you have to pay $10 to put one on there. It will let you choose, you'll have to have a certain rocket cost, a certain number of rocket capabilities in order to try to launch something. And the mission determines where in the Earth orbit, Moon, or Mars area you're going for. There's several possible things to do in each area. Okay, so you need to get a minimum number of rockets. Then you may try to launch. Now the rocket cost is something you just get in order to try to launch the mission. Now you have to have certain of the technology cards, depending on where you're going, to fly the mission. So you put as many of those as you can and move along the track, okay, to see how close you get to Earth orbit, Moon, or Mars. Then you draw a certain number, this is the rockets, 3, 5, 10 for this one. Then you draw a certain number of mission cards. Is that what they're called? Let me make sure. Mission success cards, which give you extra movement along or not. None of them are minus, but some of them are 0, one's a 4, mostly they're 2s and 3s. And you can abort a mission before you draw the last card. There's some penalty for that. If you draw the last card and you didn't succeed, then your entire thing on your launch pad blows up. You've seen that in movies. It's ugly. So here it is. This is the track. So in order to get to Earth orbit, you need to get to a total of 8. To the moon is, I think, 10, and to Mars is 13. Cards give you special powers. There's some clarifications on some of them. There can have complicated interactions. There are solitaire rules for playing it by yourself. There's a flowchart for the solo turn. Well, and then there's a game variant for a short version of the game when you're learning it. Okay. There's a rules summary on the back, launch attempt summary, the available actions, explaining some of the symbols. Okay, and when you're going to each location, it's possible that there are some or all of these available. Put a satellite up, have an orbital shipyard, a space station, a base, a space ship, a space hotel, or asteroid mining. And of course, when you do those things, you not only score victory points, they also give you abilities. Okay. So here's the map board. It's big-ish. There's where you launch from, the victory point track, and up here you can see the cost of saving the Earth goes up as you move along. Okay. When in Earth orbit, you need this symbol to launch and get there, and the possible missions are, the rocket ship, satellite, orbiting thing. Well, anyways, so these are the different missions that are available. The missions have increasing rocket costs depending on how important they are, and they give you an ability if you succeed. Then we have going to the moon, which people can do. you basically mark that you've done it with up to 3 of these. I think you can't have more than 3 of each mission. Oh no, 4, because that's the first person who does it. And then, right, yes. And then 4 different kinds of missions on the moon, 3 different kinds of missions on Mars. I think that's correct. 1, 2, 3. Yes. And when you play the variants, I think those cards go up there. The cards are available to buy are here. There are 3 stacks of cards here on the board while you're playing, and I guess we'll get to those in a minute. And on here, I can't remember what goes there. So, is that enough to see everything? Well, we should probably do quadrant by quadrant. That's the upper and lower right, the lower left, and last but not least, the upper left. Okay. There are 4 space aid kits, 1 for each player. They explain everything in a short version. There's the tokens, markers for the players, the individual ones, the bonuses for accomplishing missions, okay, the sort of standard thick cardboard. Each player gets their own player-colored, player organization space, a bunch of plastic bags, not necessarily very important. And then, the cards. So here's a mission card. I think they all, asteroid mining, it happens on Mars only. Okay, it's this, you place it in that symbol, all right, and a base, which can be either the moon or Mars, spaceship, which could be any of the 3, and as you can see, the cost in rockets you need to attempt the launch goes up pretty steeply, and the number of cards you can draw goes up a little bit. All right. So and each player gets their own deck of mission cards. Okay, so you all have the same, right? Yes, and they don't have costs on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Every player has 12 potential mission cards. The other cards, you can buy them. They have a cost on the bottom. Sometimes just money, sometimes money and an ability. As an asset, they do the following things. Okay, and that's most of the different kinds of cards. I believe, oh no, well, no, I didn't, I should probably find, these are all asset cards, right? There's teal ones, and purple ones. So you go through the teal ones first, and then the purple ones come out. I think that's how it works, right? Yes, something like that. These are the engines, okay, and they're bought separately. They're 2 or 3 or 4. These are the things that could hurt the planet. These are the asteroid impacts. I think they're all kind of the same. It's worth 2 victory points. Thought it said 1 in the rules, but it looks, oh no, they're all worth 2 victory points. Right, yes, that's true. Well, right, climate change, pandemic, seems terrible. And this deck are the mission success cards. These are they didn't help you ones. Then there's some 1s, 2s, 3s, and at the very end the 4. That's the best one. Good luck getting that, right? Then there's personal goals. This one, well, first human. So certain kinds of things. Fulfill all the above. Be the first on all of them, 2 of them, or any of them. And you get 2, 3, or 4 points, plus a point for doing it, and maybe, oh no, 2 more points for each one of these you accomplish, and 1 point for each of the things you actually get done. And then Lifetime Dream, I guess it means going space adventure. Oh, Get Rich. Alright. Race to the Moon. Savior of Mankind. So space tourism. Get lost in space. So there's a lot of those. And I think these are the cards for the AI that plays against you if you're playing the solitaire version. And these are the variant things. Let's see, it's not rocket science. Player with the most rockets on the cards and tokens at the end of the game gets 3. Most of that, most of that, most of that. Player with the most sets of all 3. And if there are 3 or more threat cards in the display, active player draws 1 card less at the end of the turn. So things that you don't want to have happen. Player increase hand size by 1 once they have achieved their first mission. That makes the game easier for everybody. Fate will smile. Take any 1 card when you fulfill a mission and put it in your playing area, except not limits or threats. And then threat card is worth an extra victory point. So that's Earth Summit. And Swimming in Money. Once per turn, players can remove a card from the game, from their hand, and just get 20. There's no actual money in the game. The money is on the cards. You discard them to get the money. You don't burn them. But you basically use them. That's the capability they have after you've bought them. So I'm really looking forward to giving this a try soon. As you can see, I'll have to split things up into the different spaces that have been made available. I think, well, we'll see how it's supposed to work out. I'll try organizing it soon. I'm looking forward to it. Reviews are pretty good. It looks like it plays fairly quickly and, well, smoothly. That's what it said. So, and it's a fun theme. Space travel, always a good time. Oddly realistic. So, thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you decide if it would be a game you'd be interested in. Probably not squish the plastic while I'm doing that, huh? And look forward to showing you more of games when I buy them while they're new. Have fun playing. Bye for now.